Hi folks, this is all the fruit. Remember my fruit foraging video from earlier this week, where I was frolicking through the city of Heidelberg, topless, collecting fruits and flowers in the sun? Well, as you can see, winter's back. We are the 2nd of April, and yeah, you can see it in the video. There is light snow blowing around here. Well, the second half of March was very warm and sunny with temperatures, day temperatures sometimes above 20 degrees in the shade, much warmer in the sun. Even night temperatures quite mild with like 12-13 degrees. I was even planning to go camping last week because, yeah, why not use the warm weather? But I had a bit of a cold, so I didn't do it. Well, now, just days later, the temperatures have fallen during the day. It's a bit above freezing during the night. It gets sometimes a bit below freezing. Yeah, since yesterday we've had snow. Of course, the snow doesn't stay on the ground. It melts immediately. I mean, it was 20 degrees a couple days ago. The ground is still heated. Yeah, but let's see how it affects flowers and yeah, the young fruits on some fruit trees. Yeah, cold weather in early spring is nothing unusual in Germany. We've had years where it was basically, yeah, like quite mild all winter, and then in, yeah, late March, early April, when you think, okay, now the winter is finally over, spring, even summer is coming, then you get hit with some really harsh frost, like minus 10 degrees, the ground freezing solid, all the flowers and leaves on the fruit trees dying, and so on. This year it doesn't seem to be that bad, but it can still put quite a lid on fruit production. But let's see what fruits and flowers and stuff we can forage now in this early April light snowstorm. The hills above the town are just slightly cooler around this time of the year, but it's enough for the snow to stick there for some time. Well, 2 or 3 kilometers in this direction is the skiing and sledding area of Heidelberg. Today is Saturday, I don't know, it started snowing yesterday afternoon. Maybe today there will already be a couple people skiing there. Tomorrow there will be more if it continues. It's really funny, folks. Last weekend a lot of people, including myself, were on the beach, on the Neckar. And this weekend you can go skiing in the same city. Yeah, crazy April weather. I'm here in a modern German neighborhood built less than 20 years ago. And the good thing is, yeah, they have quite a diversity of ornamentals. So let's see what we can get. Well, hawthorn. No more fruits on this one. Most of them rotted during winter, but at least you can eat the leaves. Same goes for roses. Some silver berries. They developed well during this mild early spring. You can eat the fruit and the seed. Well, the cherry blossoms, they still look okay, but if this weather continues for far over a week, the blossoms which had not been pollinated yet will not get pollinated anymore. At least we can eat the blossoms. Ornamental roses and the tasteless rose hips. Well, better than nothing. A red cherry plum, and in the back a saucer magnolia. This year almost all the ornamental apples are rotten. Here is one which still has a bit of red. Tastes edible. In a survival situation you would still find a couple edible ones on the ground. When they fell to the ground, they were more protected from harsh frost. So you can see there are still a couple plump and red ones among the hundreds of rotten ones. Those would be quite good, but I don't want to eat them right now because the compost attracts rats. So there will be rats running around here all night. Fire thorn is a staple of autumn, winter and spring foraging. Very few berries on this one, but on other shrubs I've seen plenty. I guess very few berries because the fire thorn was pruned severely. Not too much taste, but hey, we cannot be too choosy in early spring. Stay away from the black ligustrum or privet berries. They are toxic and they taste disgusting too. The winter was quite mild, so some figs survived on the branches right now. They will be quite hard and tasteless when eaten fresh, but I know a Bulgarian recipe how you can make jam from those super green, super tough figs. At least it tastes a bit like fig jam. Maple flowers are very, very nectar rich and can be eaten too. A lot parts of the maple which are considered edible actually very bitter. Let's see. No, the flowers are okay actually. A bit more fire thorn berries here, but it seems that either children or probably birds have used them a lot this winter. In some winters they are almost never used, but in this winter they seem to have been quite popular. Most of them ripped off the branches already. What was this? Eating Nandina domestica, and as far as I know it's poisonous. More silver berries, but very few fruit on this one. Well, I still know where the other ones grow. Camellia, I still think where you can grow camellia you can also grow tea. Funny that nobody is growing tea in Germany. This apple tree survived much better. Most of the fruit are still intact on the branches. Pear berries. Well, this is one of the ornamental species. What is this? Berberis hematocarpa, I would say. It's considered toxic by some. Some people say the bitter berberis are not edible, but I think those few will not harm it too much. But folks, still be careful. Don't eat every berberis. There are people who say some are not good. A bit sour, a bit bitter, but at least they are plentiful. Somebody did not harvest their quinces, but now it's too late anyways. This Judas tree is just starting to flower, very tasty flowers. Here the Laurel Cherry. As far as I know, you can also make a lot of things from the flowers, and you can eat the fully ripe fruit. But are the flowers actually edible out of hand? There is a rule of thumb with those rosaceae. If they are very bitter, they contain too much cyanide. And those are pretty bitter. A pleasant bitterness of bitter almonds. But remember, the pleasant bitterness of bitter almonds is cyanic acid. I wonder if those bananas were left outdoors. No, I don't think so. They must have been brought out in spring because the leaves have survived. If they were outdoors, just the pseudostems would have survived. The mulberries are already developing. Well, the Romans were calling the mulberry Moros sapiens, the wise mulberry, because it only develops its leaves after the last frosts. Let's see. So those wise mulberries tell us that there are not going to be any more frost this winter. That sounds good. Chocolate vine is in flower. Some say it's called chocolate vine because of the brownish purplish color of the flowers. Some say they smell like chocolate. Some say even the flowers are edible. No, they are bitter. However, when you catch the fruit at the right stage of ripeness, they really do taste like chocolate. The flowering period of the peach almond is almost over. You can eat the flowers, you can eat the young unripe fruit, you can eat the ripe fruits and the seeds. Even now in March, I might get lucky if I crack enough of the almonds on the ground. Some of them will still be edible. Even the daisies, the edible tasty daisies, and the also edible but less tasty dandelions, they were wide open last week, now they are closed. Well, no need to open your flowers when there are no bees flying around. Hackberry trees. In mild winters, a second generation of hackberry fruit develops. If I'm lucky, I can get a couple edible ones, or even mummified tasty ones from last year. Like for example, on those low-hanging hackberry branches. Doesn't look too good from the outside, looks moldy and rotten. The inside is still sweet, but better stay away from them when they look like this on the outside. Actually, the inside was pretty sweet. I want more of those things. Ugh. But those on this tree, they are really moldy. Black mold is dangerous, folks. Stay away from it. Can eat Saskatoon flowers, but it's more clever to wait for the tasty berries. They're gonna be ripe in about 2 months. Some ornamental apples with edible flowers. Over there, ornamental cherries, also with edible flowers. Here's 2 other cherry trees, 2 pretty different cherry trees, also with edible flowers. But it's getting quite cold, folks. The snow, which turns to rain as soon as it touches the ground, is getting stronger. My hands are freezing. With my old phone, I wouldn't even be able to film, because the phone would freeze. The phone would stop working by now. Here a couple tasty spring greens like nettles and some type of mustard. This is some cardamine pratensis probably. Yeah, spring is rather a greens foraging time, greens and flowers, not so much fruits. So for now I'm finishing the video, folks. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the hopefully slightly warmer and more pleasant beautiful city of Heidelberg. And of course, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.